my life is painful because there are things that people refuse to talk about. So part of the reality of a cheerful attitude in Christian sex study is like, look, we're going to be parents with each other. We're going to talk about those little things that might bother us inside, or things that we might be excited about or longing for that people don't talk about very much. Right now, I am going to talk about the idea of women in our family who have very little breast. Very, very, very small, not very much breast. Now, once I heard a rabbi say, well, from a distance, the primary difference between men and women is men are bearded and women are breasted. But some men are more bearded than others, and some women are more breasted than others. Now, one of the things in life that can be very difficult is feeling frustrated about things that you don't have. Feeling frustrated because your circumstances seem to be worse than the circumstances of others. So, let us meditate on being a woman, a girl, growing up. I mean, we're all just people. We've all got hearts. We all see things going on all around us. Imagine a girl growing up and just not really having breast development, being relatively flat-chested, like boy-chested. That is an issue. That is an emotional issue, especially for women. Everybody tends to compare themselves to other people, but there's a certain aspect to the female human being. And I will say it's partly because the female human being came out of a pre-existing physical structure. And so she is much more aware of whether she is being received or accepted or connected to another person, a physical structure. And Miles Monroe, who is an eloquent teacher teaching about gender stuff, if you look up Miles Monroe and type in men and women, you'll get really neat, a handful of really neat teachings. Miles Monroe mentions that the thing in a woman's heart that she is primarily seeking for, and this could be an overgeneralization, but it's a very powerful one. A woman is looking for family commitment. Is this person committed to me? Does this person like me? Does this person approve of me and what I have done and what I'm doing? Does this person approve of the way I look? Do I look a way that makes them happy or delighted with me? Family commitment. If a woman begins to perceive that the family commitment of a person that she is dedicated to begins to wane and go away, if the family commitment starts to fall apart and the faithfulness starts to fall apart, in her heart, the woman will start looking for another person or atmosphere where there might be family commitment. And then in Miles Monroe talk, he says that the primary heart thing for a man actually has a hunger for a word of honor, a voice of honor, a voice of appreciation. Because in some ways, because of a man's reality, he feels deep inside that he's pretty imperfect. And so when somebody says, oh my gosh, I really like the way that you do this, or you do this well, or you do that well, or it's honorable the way that you handled that situation, the man is feeling, oh my gosh, regardless of my obvious errors and my obvious shortcomings that everybody can see, someone is acknowledging a good thing that I do. So, a woman is hoping, looking for, her heart is seeking family commitment. A man's heart is seeking someone who actually is standing with him and appreciating in solidarity. When I lived in San Francisco many years ago, I had a friend named Robin. And Robin was very skinny. She was a dancer. And honestly, for many years of my life, I was not self-controlled in intimacy. I wasn't discerning. I had very poor conscience. So Robin and I worked together, and we spent a lot of time together working in a restaurant. And there was one time when we spent time close together and were snuggling and stuff. And Robin made a joke about herself. She called herself the tit-less wonder. She called herself the tit-less wonder. And it struck me so deep. And it made me meditate on what it would feel like to be a woman surrounded by all these women with different sizes of breasts and bodies and stuff. But she's skinny and slim, and she has a chest like a boy. Well. Well, for me, when I heard her say that, that motivated me to love and care for her even more. And, I mean, we're talking about the stuff that people don't sit around and talk about very much. When I was a young kid, I found a bunch of magazines with pictures of naked people. A lot of them were nudist magazines, Sunshine and Health, and it was really interesting to look at the different shapes and sizes of all kinds of different people, and it was comforting and nice. It was almost like going to a zoo and seeing a bunch of different kinds of animals, and it sort of made me feel a little bit content and happy, probably just from the Genesis 2:25, and they were naked and not ashamed. There's an original essence of us that's actually not afraid of our nakedness, but since fear and evil and death came in, it's a trouble now. So I used to look at these magazines with pictures of naked people, and I started getting very angry at the standard girly magazines because I was angry at men who would get excited and make a bunch of noise and whistle at female human beings that just had certain physical attributes, which I thought was really stupid. Like, it doesn't matter what a person looks like. It matters about whether the person loves you and cherishes you and is excited about you. The physiology doesn't matter that much. So as a pretty young child, I was a very like anti-standard tits and ass girly form type of person. It's not like I didn't like people that had sort of special, unusual, dramatic bodies, but I didn't like the men. I didn't like the men who spent all of their time making a lot of noise about women with a certain type of body. And I'm going to remind you of the Golda Meir quote. Golda Meir, she was a lady that was not strikingly beautiful, and she declared, she was the prime minister of Israel, and she said, since I did not have beauty, the power of beauty in my favor, I had to develop many other skills. The woman who has a lot of attractiveness has a handicap. And that's just like, wow, okay, a really pretty woman actually has a handicap because she can cheat in life. She can get by on just being cute. She can open doors just by her attractiveness. And she can also end up being lazy and refuse to take responsibilities because she gets used to using her cuteness and pleasantness to manipulate people. So, tra-la, tra-la. So a long time ago, I remember having this attitude towards guys around me when I was a teenager, that it's stupid for you to get excited and whistle at these certain types of women. The most important thing is, if you're with a woman, is she going to love you and cherish you and be your most wonderful, wonderful friend, and really be of the same mind and same strength and work together as a team. Now, I want to focus on this. My friend Robin, who called herself the tit-less wonder, if you grew up in that atmosphere, where you actually are sort of deficient compared to everybody else. Look, God, everybody else has got these dramatic boobies, and I've got zero. I've got nipples. What's up with that? In that circumstance, the girl can potentially get in a state of assuming, oh, because I don't have big boobies, I am not going to be a delight to male human beings. And there's going to be this poverty spirit, this feeling of deficiency. And that is actually a spirit presence, like a sad, screwy, demonic presence that can end up being sad, pouty, whiny, complainy, and brokenhearted. Hey, I got cheated. And that sucks, and I'm kind of pissed off. And so these are just things I'm meditating about. A precious friend made a comment, I think was like, because I speak my mind and I don't hold back my words, I only have 3 friends, because people don't like to hear truth. So think about these things. And remember that a person who has a deficiency and feels ashamed or sad when they're comparing themselves to other people can actually live an entire lifetime with a sadness, a grudge, a bitterness, and that person can come to conclusions that are not really solid, because they're operating more out of their own hurt and frustration than out of the truth of God. In other words, the world has me in it, and I don't have nice boobies, so it's a shame that nobody's going to like me or want me. I mean, that can be a pervading lie of power. And so, let's talk about these things. Let's talk about all these funny little things and be real about these things. That guy, Brad Blanton, who did the Radical Honesty workshop book, he's really, really smart and kind about talking about all the stuff that people avoid. So peace be with you. Talk about stuff and be courageous so that your children can grow up being bold and talk about stuff and stay free from little hidden nasty things.